What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Football Casual. Keeping it going with that intro, at least for these fun videos. Maybe not the match reactions, but my last video was the Chelsea Forest game reaction. Wild game. Well, I guess the game wasn't that crazy, but in terms of wild end to the season, wild end to the top 5 race, that was its own thing. But now that the season's actually over, we know all the places, we know everything that went down. I figured it's time to do my Premier League team of the season. Now, I was going to go find some way to do a cool graphic and all that kind of stuff, but it turns out the Premier League had voting open still for the fan team of the season. I think it closes on Thursday, so go vote for that if you haven't already. But I figured I might as well just do it like this, and you can see my team of the season through my actual vote I'm going to put in here. And I figured it'd be fun too to try to limit it to one player per team. It's not going to be easy, because realistically, there are teams who did better than others, and there's a good reason to put multiple players from their team in the team of the season. But I'm going to try and do a little challenge and keep it maybe to one player per team. We'll see how much we can actually stick to that. So let's hop straight in, and we have to select a goalkeeper first. And I was not going to base this on stats or anything. I was going to base this purely on vibes. I am the football casual after all, but just what I've seen of them, the games I've watched, what I've heard of them, what I've maybe picked up over the course of the season. But thankfully, I didn't know this. This is literally my first time going to this page. They actually do have some stats here for us to look at, so that actually kind of helps. I didn't know, because we played Forest on the last day of the season, that Sells and Raya ended up being joint clean sheet holders, or I guess they get the Golden Glove. So that's kind of impressive to take into account. So we have Allison, Sells, Raya, Pickford, Hermanson, Henderson, Ederson, Leno, Martinez, Ramsdale. That's a lot of options. So obviously it's funny here because you see the teams at the top of the league around there, and then you also see some relegated teams because they're facing they're facing so many shots, like Ramsdale. 119 saves, 103 saves, but the rest of them 107 saves, and then you see a bunch of clean sheets. But for me, it really only comes down to Raya, Sells, and that's pretty much it. I'm not gonna lie. Of course, there are other great players. Dean Henderson went crazy in the FA Cup final, especially, but Allison just missed a little too much of the season for me, even though he probably still is the best keeper in the world, or at least in the league. Probably him, Courtois, Donnarumma, battling out for that in the world. But between Raya and Sells, same clean sheets, but I'm gonna go with Sells, mainly because that defensive unit. I think you can say the same thing for any team that keeps as many clean sheets. It's more than just the keeper; it's the defensive unit. But Raya might have the best two center backs in the league, not named Virgil van Dijk, on his team in front of him. And Sells, that performance this season is part of the reason why Forest were even in the discussion for Champions League football for as long as they were. So to me, that's super impressive. And it's hard not to put him as the choice here. But here's where it gets tricky, is that if I put Sells in a keeper, then I'm kind of harming myself when it comes to the rest of the positions, because Forest could have multiple guys in this team. But I think I'm going to go with Sells. Before I do, I'm actually just curious what the eye thing does. Okay, you see more stats. So Allison played 26 games. Sells played 37 as expected. Raya played 37. So like I said, I'm going with Sells. Just to look at the stats: 37 games played, 13 clean sheets, 119 saves. 13 clean sheets, 85 saves. So Sells is even facing more shots, but at the same clean sheets. To me, that's impressive. That's really impressive. Sells is going to be my goalkeeper. Now, left back. Ooh, okay. Coming into this, I'm not going to lie, I was already feeling Cucurella. Mainly, well, maybe I'm biased because I watched the most Cucurella, but he's been really impressive to me this season. But that's maybe one of the more improved players of the season. If I had to go with outright the best left back, it's between Vardiol, Kirkez, and Robinson. Kirkez is the up and coming. He's gonna be a monster. I'm kind of biased toward him because I've been using him in FIFA for years in career mode. Like you see, 8 clean sheets, 5 assists. Vardiol, no assists, but doesn't have his goal stats here. But he's scored a good amount of goals from defense, which is massive. You could argue now he's more of a center back, and I always liked him at center back, but they have him at left back here, so that is what it is. But because they have him at left back here, I feel like I have to go with Robinson at left back. I really prefer Guardiola at center back, although he probably played more minutes at left back. 10 assists, double-digit assist season from a left back. I think his all-around fullback game is probably the best here. I'm going to Robinson. Now, center backs. Oh boy, I just realized I said I'm going to pick one per club. That's next to impossible. You know what? I'm calling an audible. We're going to allow 2 per club only from the champions. Call that a cop-out. It's kind of a cop-out. But, I mean, I can't not choose Virgil van Dijk. He's the best center back in the league. Arguably the best center back in the world. Maybe not even that arguable. But next to him, let's just look at the stats real quick. 36, 14 clean sheets, 35 tackles. 38 tackles, though, from Konate, but 11 clean sheets. They played differently, though. 62 tackles from Saliba. And 25 assists. Gabriel? No way this guy has 25 assists. This must be a glitch. This must mean tackles. That's crazy if he has 25 assists. I just don't believe that. But he also didn't. I could penalize him for not playing that many games. But Forrest, the Forrest guys are out in my estimation because of my challenge. Hoyson, nice young player going to Madrid. I'm going Gabriel though. Even though he didn't play that many games compared to the others, the amount of goals he was scoring as a defender in that Arsenal set piece system, unreal. And even if I think Saliba may still be the better center back, Gabriel's all around game this season has just been unreal. So I'm going Gabriel. The right back selection. Trent, 6 assists still, and he didn't even play that many games. No, 32 actually, that's a good amount of games. But he didn't start all those games. For sure did not start that many. Jets bench, really impressive. Although he's playing more left back than anything this year. Aaron Wan-Bissaka from United to West Ham. He's probably West Ham's best player. Shout out to him. Ola Aina, if I didn't have the restriction of 1 player per team, I probably would have gone with Ola Aina. But considering I do have that restriction, and because he didn't have a bad season himself, Daniel Munoz, I'm going with him. He's been really impressive for Palace. One of their best players, one of their best additions in general. Just really solid season, and a big part of them finishing where they did, going on the run that they did, and winning the FA Cup. So I'm going with Munoz for my right back. Midfielders now. I have to choose 2 out of these monsters. Gravenberch, 1,800 passes, 67 tackles, 4 assists. Declan Rice, 1,400 passes, 53 tackles, 7 assists. I'm not going through all these, but McAllister, Bruno G, Szoboszlai, Tonali, Bruno Fernandes, Moises Caicedo, Morgan Gibbs-White, and Morgan Rogers. This is tough because they don't really all play the same position. And there's some players who you consider a midfield who are actually in the forwards section. So this is kind of tough. But my first is going to be Moises Caicedo. To me, Caicedo has been the best defensive midfielder in the league this season. People will say Gravenberch, but Gravenberch is playing in front of much better center backs and just with a much better team. He's definitely the most improved, and I don't think there's a massive gap between him and Caicedo. But I think Gravenberch kind of ran out of steam in the back half of the season. Caicedo, from start to finish, has been Chelsea's best player, period. And he's going to be my Chelsea selection, which means, obviously, there's someone who's not getting selected later. But Moises Caicedo is my first. And my second, Bruno Fernandes. He's really the only person who has a shout from United because Ahmad was out for so long. But I don't even know if I can reward that. He's too hot and cold for me and only really had half a good season. I really like Tonali. I think Tonali's kind of underrated, but there's another Newcastle player I'm eyeing up. Morgan Gibbs-White is hard to compare to these guys. Just completely different position. Morgan Rogers is really good as well. I'm not going with Gravenberch or McAllister, although I think McAllister is actually probably deserves to be in the team of the season. This guy is ridiculous. Just overall game, he does everything. Just literally everything. He's so good for Liverpool. But I already have a Liverpool player, and there's another one that has to be selected. It's actually between Declan Rice and Morgan Rogers. Those are probably each the player I choose from their team as like the best player on their team this season. For Arsenal, it's either obviously Rice or Saka. But Saka missed so much of the season, and Rice really put the team on his back when they needed him. Obviously, they only finished second, but even you can talk about that Champions League performance is ridiculous. Morgan Rogers, breakout player of the season, possibly young player of the season, really solid for Villa. 10 assists, just ridiculous. Ooh, this one's tough. I low-key want to come back to this based on who else shows up. But if I had to choose, it feels crazy not choosing either of them. But I'm not going to not pick Caicedo. So it's kind of rough for Morgan Rogers. But I'm going Declan Rice and Moises Caicedo as my two, I guess, DMs. I don't know exactly how they're going to line up this 11 in the graphic. Now, forwards. This is the big one. Massive one. I mean, is it really that massive? He has to be selected. Mohamed Salah, player of the season. Just look at the numbers. 10 goals, 15 goals, 6 goals, 19 goals, 12 goals. Not to go to assists because they don't have that many goals. 9 goals, 12 goals. And Salah has 28 goals. On top of that, he also had 18 assists, which I'm sure they'll have here, which is crazy. In 36 games. That's a crazy goal involvement ratio. Funny thing is, Salah, everyone was saying at the midway point of the season, he's going to destroy all these records. He didn't beat the goal record. He didn't beat the assist record. And I think he equaled the overall involvement record. So it's kind of funny that it didn't end up happening. But Saka, I already picked Rice because I knew I wasn't going to pick Saka. Just didn't play enough games with the injury. 6 goals in a season. Obviously, he had the injury, but it's just not enough. Cole Palmer, people say he fell off crazy. 15 goals and 8 assists. That's a really solid season from an attacking midfielder. But, you know, people have their agendas. Anthony Gordon, not enough for me, personally. I think he had a better season like 2 years ago. Kluivert, solid season. He really impressed me with Bournemouth. I didn't expect him to be as good as he was. 12 goals, 6 assists. That's a solid return for a mid-table club. Murphy, call it a purple patch, but he was good for most of the season. So, and he really helped Liverpool. They really helped Newcastle make that top 5. So you got to give your respects to him. I'm sure they're still going to want to replace him or at least give him someone to compete with. Because realistically, in an ideal Newcastle 11 that's challenging for the title and the Champions League, he's not starting, but he did what he had to do this season. Alanga, obviously he's not getting chosen because I chose Sells, but really solid season coming from United, especially however many years ago that he was supposed to be this up-and-coming prospect there. He's really reinvented himself at Forest. Forest has done a great job at that, picking up players from around the league. Mitoma, one of my favorite players in the league. 9 goals, 3 assists, solid for a mid-table club. He can go without getting GA for a decent amount of time. And people will say, oh, he's not really that dangerous. But just his dribbling alone just creates so many chances for Brighton. I think he's a bit underrated. And Jared Bowen, West Ham haven't been too impressive to me, but 12 goals, 7 assists, solid return. You kind of put them on their back for most of the season when you expect him to have a good partnership with Kudus, who didn't really come through as you would expect. But for me, it has to be Bryan Mbeumo. This guy is ridiculous. Brentford, they would have thought, oh no, we're losing Tony. Where do we go? But Mbeumo and Vissa have just been ridiculous. And this guy especially. 19 goals, 7 assists across 37 games. Amazing return. I wouldn't be surprised to see him be the Jacob Murphy competitor at Newcastle or replacement to go with Gordon and Isak. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to United to join Cunha, who just went there. That was breaking news from recently. Well, I think I'm recording this on Monday, so it came out last night, which was crazy. Well, we already knew it was going to happen, but the fact that it happened so quickly after the end of the season is kind of wild. But Cunha to United. and Embuemo. Apparently, they're also targeting him. I can see him going to a number of clubs, and I'm sure Brentford, they always got someone to replace him because they do great with recruitment. But to me, behind Salah, in terms of actually playing a ton of games and having the return, you could say Palmer and Saka are better, and I agree. But Embuemo just put the money where his mouth is. He put the numbers on the board. So Embuemo and Salah got to be up there for me. And now on to strikers, the usual suspects: Holland, Isak, Wood, Mateta, Watkins, Johan Visa, Cunha, Delap, Welbeck, and Strand Larson. 2 Wolves forwards, which is interesting, or strikers or whatever. Although I say Cunha is more of a forward. I mean, to me, Alexander Isak is the best striker, well, was the best striker in the league this season. Which is kind of funny because Holland, people say, oh, he fell off, said he wasn't great. Still 21 goals, which is the same as Isak, who everyone glazes, including me. 21 goals in 29 games. Obviously, he missed a ton of games at the end of the season. 21 goals in 30 games. 2 assists. Holland had 3 assists. Pretty identical seasons. But for me, Isak, his all-around game has just been the most impressive this season. I still say Holland is the better pure goal scorer. Other than him, though, and I believe I did this correctly, I think he's the only Newcastle player I chose. Chris Wood was up to no good, but I picked Sells. And just seeing him fumble in the last day of the season, kind of sad. But still 20 goals, 31 games, solid. Mateta, another solid season for him. Ollie Watkins, I expected a little more from him this season. Still 16 goals, 8 assists, W Premier League for the spelling. I still expect a little bit more from him, but obviously they got a lot of players in that forward area who can get it done. I'd say Morgan Rogers was the better player this season. Johan Visa, I really like. 19 goals as well, 4 assists. Him and Embuemo, just ridiculous pair. I went with Embuemo, but easily could have been him as well. Cunha, really solid, going to United. The fact that he's even up here and he's from a relegated side, I mean, says enough by itself. United are also looking at him. Danny Welbeck, how old is this guy, honestly? He's got to be pushing 35, maybe even on the other side of 35. I don't know how old he is at this point, but Danny Welbeck, what a player. Still getting it done in 2025. Was really solid for Brighton, especially to start the season. He was on fire. And Strand Larson, again, solid player. Him and Cunha basically carrying Wolves in the attacking department. 12 goals, 2 assists. Not bad. But for me, I mean, it's got to be Erling Haaland. I know people are going to say, oh no, City, whatever. But realistically, he's the best pure goal scorer in the league. He proved it again, even with the injuries. Still more goals than everyone except for Isak. And I guess Salah as a winger or forward, whatever they put him as. But Salah had the greatest season of his career. Still very solid. And even, it's not impossible that if Haaland is healthy the entire season, that he rivals Salah in goals. He's that good. So I believe he's the only City player I chose. So looking at it now, Haaland, Isak, Salah, Embuemo, Rice, Caicedo, Munoz at right back, Gabriel and Van Dijk at center back. I know they both technically left-sided center backs, but whatever. And Anthony Robinson at left back, Matt Sells at keeper. I'm happy with that. I'm actually really happy with that. Let's see if we can get a graphic. Okay, I quickly had to make an account on the Premier League website, but here we go. I actually got a graphic. So vote has been submitted. This is my team of the season. I see they set it up in a 4-4-2. Okay, fair enough. But I'm not mad at it. If I knew it was going to be a 4-4-2, maybe I'd go with Morgan Rogers instead of Declan Rice, just for a little bit more of an attacking threat from a central two. This right here is a little defensive, even though Rice really as an 8, I really like him as an 8 as well. But still, just to run through it one last time. Sells a keeper, Munoz and Robinson at the fullbacks, Van Dijk and Gabriel at center back. We got Caicedo, I'm going to play as like a DM, Rice more as like an 8, Salah and Embuemo on the wings, and Isak and Haaland up top. For me, if I really were to set this up, instead of a 4-4-2, I'd set this up as a 4-2-2-2. Have Rice and Caicedo kind of as both DMs. Have Salah and Mbeumo both as like attacking midfielders, but a little wider, and then Holland, Isak more central as both as strikers. I think that would be a good setup for this team. But either way, this is my Premier League team of the season. These are my official votes that I put in. And let me know what your team of the season is in the comments below. There's a lot of room for decision there. Even I tried to keep it to one player per team. Oh my god, I just picked 2 Arsenal players. I fumbled. I just picked 2 Arsenal players. Oh my god, I completely fumbled. Can I go back? I want to pick Morgan Rogers. Oh no. Oh no, I fumbled. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I completely fumbled the challenge. Oh my god, that's embarrassing. Oh my god. Okay, well, here's what I'm gonna do, because I do feel bad for Morgan Rogers. He deserved to be in this team. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go on an alternate account. I'm gonna vote again. I'm gonna vote Morgan Rogers into my team. And the graphic you're probably gonna see on the thumbnail of this video is gonna be the graphic from that account, not this account. I'm gonna put that graphic up in different places. But this one, if you actually watch the video, you know I fumbled the challenge and my team has Declan Rice in it. But really, that spot deserves to go to Morgan Rogers. So if you actually made it this far in the video, you'll see the truth, but I messed up. Let's be real, I messed up. But thanks for watching, especially if you made it this far. Like I said before, let me know in the comments your team of the season. And you don't have to keep it to one player per club. If you want to do, you can give me your actual team of the season, no limitations, and then do the 1 player per club limitation. But you're allowed to pick 2 players from the champion. That's the only caveat to this system. But other than that, like I said, thanks for watching. We'll be back for the Champions League final. That's going to be massive. Inter, PSG. Who do you guys think is going to win? I honestly don't know. But this feels like a trophy drought ending season. My head says Inter. I really like Inter, and I think they're the best suited to win a competition like this. In my heart, and the magic of this season, and the fact that they're being played in Munich, where teams break that duck, my heart's saying PSG, but that's basically a cop-out. I'm not choosing. Let me know, though. We'll definitely do a reaction to that video. Drop your prediction in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!